how's everybody doing? Sherman D. Manning greeting you live from Los Angeles, California. Listen, just a moment about the church. Um, there are some very, very ignorant people in Los Angeles, and one of whom has the audacity, the temerity, the unmitigated gall to get on the phone and text me threats. Now, quite frankly, when you text somebody, I think most of us have enough sense to realize that this is documentation. So if you text somebody that you're going to show up at their church and do something derogatory, and that person has armed security guards at the church, bodyguards, whatever you want to call them, security force, they have a right to shoot that person. I hope you know that. It's not just standing your ground, it's protecting your life. And when you've already threatened someone, if I were a rat, if I were a snitch, the person would be in jail already. In jail. Because if you're stupid enough to text a threat to a person, that person can swear out a warrant on you and have you arrested for making terroristic threats. Number one. Number two, I could get a restraining order to make sure that the person stays 500 feet away from me at all times. That's number two. But Sherman is not a snitch. I am not a rat. And I'm a long way from a coward. So instead of running to the cops and having you arrested, person who listens to my podcast apparently, what I'm going to do instead is hold on and screenshot all of the texts you've sent me with the threats about burning down churches and all of that. And when you show up at the church and you are dealt with appropriately, then I'll be able to prove that this was self-defense because of the threats that you made against my life. Grow up. Stop being foolish. And don't arrest yourself with your own documentation. I realize that people have psychological problems. It's called paranoid schizophrenia. There's a reason psychologists and psychiatrists prescribe medications to people. They don't just write a prescription to help you sleep and write a prescription to slow you down if you don't have a problem. And you exacerbate your problem when all you do is pollute your brain with drugs on a daily basis. Some people use weed and they don't act so weird. And I don't endorse weed use, but I will admit that that doesn't normally make a person act the way this individual has been acting lately. But when you add crystal meth to the equation, it is a problem. It is a problem. And the bottom line is I've heard some of the most weird statements coming from this individual and read some of the most weird things over the last few weeks. And it's actually hurtful to know that this person has gone that far down and is doing that to them. I mean, what do you say when you meet someone who doesn't smoke cigarettes at all? They hate the smell of cigarettes. And they'll tell you how nasty they are. And they don't drink. All they do is quote unquote smoke weed. And then 7, 8, or 9 months later, not only do they smoke weed, now they smoke cigarettes. And they do crystal meth. And they text you and say, give me some money so that I can go get high, not for addiction, but for fun. It is a sad sight to see. So to that individual who's sending all of these texts, hear my words real clearly. Please get yourself some help. You have become a drug addict. You need intervention. You need rehab. Also, please take the medications which the psychiatrist has prescribed to you, and you'll do better. Finally, do not get yourself in trouble. I'm going to leave it at that. You know exactly where the church is. You know exactly when I'm there. And I will continually be there. But if you show up and get yourself in trouble, that's on you. My mom used to say, don't write a check. Don't let your mouth write a check that your butt can't cash. Okay? So it's time for you to come back to reality. You have a severe psychological illness, which is why I stay 5,000 feet away from you at most times, because I know at any given moment you go from 1 to 100. One minute you love somebody, the next minute you hate them. One minute you can't live without them, the next minute you want them dead. You have a problem. You better get yourself some help, because if you don't, you will end up in the state prison system. And prison is not good for anybody. So that's enough of that, ladies and gentlemen. I had to get that off my chest because I guess, they say that imitation is the highest form of flattery. Well, when you start getting stalkers and people who listen to your podcast and call you with threats and things like that, I guess in some way that's flattery. It says that, somebody's listening or somebody's paying attention, but that's not the kind of attention I want. I want people to get themselves together and live and let live. But we have to do what we have to do. And I'm going to always, I didn't get to be 43 years old by not protecting myself. Always protect me, because there'll never be another me. And there'll never be another Donald, your president, who colluded with Putin to get in office. And my question is, what are you going to do with him now? Ladies and gentlemen, go to Amazon.com or your local bookstores and get a copy of my book, Creating Monsters. You'll be glad that you did. Go get a copy of my book, The Truth About O.J. Simpson, Race, Class, Money, and Justice. That book elucidates the criminal justice system unlike anything I've ever seen. And get my book, American Dream, A Search for Justice, another book that elucidates the penological system unlike any other book I've ever read. And get my anti-gang book, a 600-page book, Kids Killing Kids. Give it to every blood you know, every Crip, 18th Street, Norteños, Southerners, Mexican Mafia, all of them. Get them a copy of my book, Kids Killing Kids, KKK. It's a 600-page book. All of those books and all 22 of my books are available at Amazon.com. Just look up Sherman D. Manning and you will see them. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are a God-loving person who's not strung out on meth and not a dope fiend, come see us Friday night at 7 o'clock p.m. at 5857 South Central Avenue, Suite 180. Now, even if you are strung out, you can come see us, but come because you want change, not come because you want to act a fool. Because I don't want to see anybody get hurt, and I don't want to see anybody go down. And so I'm just a word to the wise. You don't do what I do for a living, and you don't do what I do for life and not take care of yourself. You see those guys standing around Bishop T.D. Jakes? They're armed, and they're there to protect him by any means necessary. And so I'm not going to start a ministry where I have to deal with homeless people and strung out people and not take a lot of precautions before I start this kind of work, because I already know people can be crazy. Martin Luther King Jr. was stabbed in a church while signing autographs. So people forget about that. They remember him being assassinated, but they don't know that a black woman came down and stabbed him when he was signing autographs. So we have to always be prepared for nutcases, derelicts, and people who have severe psychological illnesses. So if you're one of those, just know that I love you. I'm praying for you, but I ain't going to let you hurt me, and I'm not going to let you destroy the church. I love all of you all. God bless you and heaven smile upon you. Come see us Friday night at 7 o'clock p.m., 5857 South Central Avenue, Suite 180. Don't let anything I said earlier alarm you. If you come there, you will be safe. We have security that you can see, visible security, and we also have invisible security that you cannot see. You will be well protected if you come to Yes We Can Worship Center Friday night at 7 o'clock p.m. In the meantime and in between time, remember that if you don't vote, you don't count. Vote as you please, but please vote. Call my church if you want to. Let us know that you heard the podcast. Give them a call right now, 213-377-8681, 213-377-8681, and just tell us you heard the podcast. God bless you. Keep the faith. Keep hope alive. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. We can make it. We can be happy. We can do this. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Am I still alive? Hard for me to tell. Am I still live? Let's see here. I think I am. Not for certain. God bless.